Good morning, class. Today we are working on Unit 3, Lesson 2, Remembering. When you look at numbers 1 through 4, those are a review from Unit 1, from fractions, and it's comparing fractions using fraction bars. Number 1 reads, what equivalent fractions are shown? And so for number 1, number 2, go with these top two bars here. And numbers 3 and 4, go with the bottom two bars here. I inevitably always have somebody who's kind of confused about that because there's not a big segregation between the pictures, so they get a little bit confused. So the top two bars go with questions 1 and 2, and the bottom two bars go with questions 3 and 4. And when you look at these top two fraction bars for number 1, it says what equivalent fractions are shown. Well, what you're going to do in the top bar is you're going to figure out what the fraction bar is telling you. We know that there are 1, 2, 3, and 4 total pieces, okay? So there's 4 total pieces, and of those 4 pieces, how many are shaded? 1, 2, 3. So the top bar is 3/4. The second bar, we're going to do the same thing. Count the total number of bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so the total number of bars is the denominator. So that's 8. And then the top number is how many are shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what it's saying to you when you look at this, because they both are shaded out to the same spot, is that 3/4 is equal to 6/8, or 6/8 is equal to 3/4. And so for number 1, you're going to write 3/4 and 6/8. And I'm going to have you write it over there. There's not a lot of room for me to write it. And then number 2 says identify the multiplier. And if you remember, okay, we're going to always list the top bar first here, but the multiplier, and what that means is when you look at that first fraction, 3/4, what did you times that by to get the second fraction? And so what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, I have 3/4 here. What do I have to multiply that by to get 6/8? Well, 3 times what is going to give me 6? 3 times 2 is going to give me 6. And remember, whatever we do at the top should be the same to the bottom. And 4 times 2 is 8, and so that's correct. So our multiplier here is 2. The multiplier is 2. Have you work through 3 and 4 on your own for practice. Numbers 5 through 8 are more practice, as we did yesterday and we did in Unit 2, of writing a fraction as a decimal. We'll go ahead and complete number 5 together, and we have 84 over 1,000. And in order to write that as a decimal, we're going to look at our numerator here and find the last number in our numerator, which is 4, and it's going to go into the thousands place because it tells us which place here in the denominator. So we go to tenths, hundredths, thousands. So we put 4 in the thousands place. Directly next to the 4 is your 8. You put 8 in the hundredths place, and then in the blank spot we fill it in with 0. And so number 5 is 84 thousandths, written 0.084. I'm going to do number 6 with you because I think it looks a little bit goofy, okay, or a little different than what you've seen. We have a 31,564 thousandths. Okay, so we have to do the exact same thing. Okay, we know that the place is going to be in the thousandths, so we are going to write our decimal, and then we have tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So we go to the last number here, which is a 4, we put that in the thousands place. Next to that is a 6, that fills in the hundredths place. Then we have a 5, which fills in the tenths place. And then we have a 1. Well, we're going to have to jump the decimal now, and we're going to have a 1. And then we're going to move over to the tens place and a 3. So it's 31 and 564 thousandths. And if you think about this, if you have 31,000, okay, and 564 thousandths, that 31 is going to be a whole number. Okay, we are going to then move down to numbers 9 and 10, and you can actually put an X to stretch your thinking. But numbers 9 and 10, I want you to pay attention because they are two-part equations, right? Or two-part problems again. The first part says solve. The second part says write a multiplication equation for each problem. Okay? Jonas has 8 sponsors for the school walkathon. Maura has 3 times as many sponsors as Jonas. Trenton has 1/4 as many sponsors as Jonas. Question number 9 asks, how many sponsors does Maura have? Well, we can see that Maura has 3 times as many, so 3 times as many sponsors as Jonas. And so now we need to look, and Jonas has how many sponsors? 8. So Maura has 3 times 8 is equal to 24. Maura has 24 sponsors. And then it says write the equation, which we've already written over here. 3 times 8 equals 24. You're going to go ahead and do the same thing for number 10. Remember, there's 2 parts. How many sponsors does Trenton have? And we're looking for the answer. And write the equation is your second part of that question. Once you've completed this page, it shouldn't take you too long. You have 5 questions to do on your own. Once you've completed it, please check your work, take a picture, upload, and turn it in on Teams. Thank you.